hurricane force winds, thousands of people without power, outages stretching more than 36 hours and still continuing.
We are making some progress with restoration, but of course, as we restore some members, more outages are occurring because that wind is still howling.
Winds strong enough to blow you down? More than once.
I'm listening to my roof. I'm going out periodically. It sounds like my roof is getting blown off.
The wind's power not stopping at sound for at least one business.
There's just a lot of debris that is blown in and around town.
Trees down, a stoplight askew,
That wind is just relentless.
and a railroad crossing gate arm snapped. The Matsu Borough School District choosing to close most schools Monday, and the Red Cross coming to help.
Everyone is welcome here at our shelter, whether or not you want to stay overnight.
Alaska's news source is watching the Southcentral windstorm as it develops.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Wind continues in Southcentral on this first alert weather day. Gusts in Palmer peaked at 84 miles per hour today. As of about 4:30 this evening, more than 15,000 MEA customers in Matsu are without power, and the Matsu Borough School District has canceled school tomorrow for most areas. Only those in Region 6 will have class tomorrow. That means kids who go to Sioux Valley, Talkeetna, Trapper Creek, and Willow will have to go to school Monday. The Red Cross set up a shelter last night in Palmer, and 4 people stayed. This morning, it was moved to the Menard Center in Wasilla. That's where Justin Matson was today to see the impacts and explain what the weather is like.
I am outside the Menard Center where the Red Cross has just set up a warming shelter Sunday. And as you can see and hear the wind around me, it is frigid. There are extremely frigid temperatures out here. The flags over here are whipping around. You can see all the trees whipping around, and folks, I cannot understand just how cold it is out here.
Inside the shelter, people seeking warmth, looking to charge their cell phones, or just have a place to stay until power comes back. The Red Cross of Alaska says everyone is welcome to come to the shelter, even if they don't stay overnight.
People are going to be without power for some time, so as long as there is a need, we will be here and be open and ready to receive people, whether or not they want to just come in, charge their phones, get warm, utilize the showers, grab something to eat, some hot coffee, or if they do need to stay overnight, if their homes are too cold or, they sustained some more major damage.
People impacted by the winds aren't the only ones staying at the warming shelter. The Red Cross says a multi-family home fire has displaced at least 5 families. The shelter is open to them as well. Justin Matson, Alaska's news source.
Bailey, it sure looked chilly out there. High wind warnings and advisories remain in effect for Southcentral until Monday afternoon. Are these wind gusts going to stay this powerful?
Thankfully, they're not going to stay this powerful. Now, yesterday and today, those winds peaked at 84 miles per hour in Palmer. But the good news is that the winds are already beginning to die down, and they're going to continue to die down overnight and into tomorrow. Now, we do have these high wind warnings and advisories, and they expire at 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. But just looking at this chart, you can already tell it's still going to stay a little bit windy, but those wind gusts are going to be significantly calmer than what we've seen already this weekend. Now, just taking a look across the state, you can see Juneau got quite a bit of snow last night, and we're mostly going to be talking about that today. Now, for the December 7th snow record, we actually passed our previous record in Juneau. So today, we got 9.6 inches of snow, and our last record of snow for December 7th was set back in 1975 with 7.2 inches of snow. So it's pretty interesting. We did get quite a bit of snow in Juneau, and you're going to continue to see a little bit more snow rolling through into tomorrow morning. Now, for tomorrow morning around 11 a.m., you can see mostly clear skies in the northern portion of the Panhandle, but most of that snow is going to roll in overnight, carrying into tomorrow morning. But then you'll see in the southern portion of the Panhandle, it is still a little bit busy with snow in the higher elevation regions, as well as rain into areas like Ketchikan and other areas around. Now, you can already see across the state mostly clear skies, and the good news is that with those clear skies and frigid temperatures, there is a higher likelihood of seeing the aurora borealis. So from 6 to 9 p.m. tonight, it's going to be high activity. So if you're in Fairbanks or out in Nome, really anywhere across the state, but mostly in the interior, you do have a higher chance of seeing the aurora. But of course, with going out at night between 6 to 9 p.m., it's going to be a little bit chilly, and that wind chill is a really big concern. So make sure you bundle up if you are going outside trying to catch the aurora. And of course, for tomorrow, our high temperatures in Fairbanks going to be negative 22 degrees, and in Anchorage, we're already seeing those cold temperatures continuing on through this week at 15 degrees. And Michaela, out in Southeast, we're seeing those temperatures still rapidly declining into next week.
And we have video of that earthquake that happened yesterday near Yakutat. This video was taken in Juneau, more than 350 miles from the quake's epicenter. The 7.0 quake hit about 50 miles north of Yakutat just before noon yesterday. Scientists are calling it the 2025 Hubbard Glacier earthquake. It kicked off a series of aftershocks. Today, there was at least one above a 5.0. Yesterday, not long after the quake, the Alaska Earthquake Center called it a pretty vigorous aftershock sequence. Today, we talked to someone in the Haines area closer to the epicenter than where this video was taken.
So from where I'm sitting, I could see my chandelier, and it started swaying back and forth. And then I have a bunch of bottles on my windowsill, and they were all rattling. And the couch, of course, was starting to shake back and forth, and pretty much knew it was an earthquake.
Having been in a few strong earthquakes before, she said she was surprised to hear it was a 7.0. However, she was a ways from the epicenter. Still ahead, you may be getting a card in the mail from the Division of Elections, and it may or may not be addressed to you. What to do if you receive one and who they're being sent to.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Library policy remains as it is in the Fairbanks School District as the school board votes to keep it intact amid community concerns. On Tuesday, the board voted in favor of a larger group of policies being reviewed, which included the library policy. Board member Audra Hall suggested the group consider the library policy separately. That idea was voted down. At the meeting, community members testified both in favor and against the ongoing system, proponents saying it allows parents to monitor their own students' access, detractors saying some materials are inappropriate for school libraries.
There's comic pictures of explicit sexual acts in these books that are accessible on the library floors in these libraries. And there's people on the board and people in the audience that are perfectly happy with kids possibly stumbling across this.
I am not interested in dictating to others how they should use the library, and I don't want others to dictate how I or my children use the library. I do, however, appreciate that reading is a personal preference and checking books out is a very personal experience. So libraries should support all students' ability to do that.
Ultimately, one member voted against the policy package. The Alaska Division of Elections is asking for your help cleaning up the voter rolls. As required by statute, it says you may receive a voter registration confirmation notice in the mail. It's a flyer the division mails to some people yearly to help confirm whether registered voters reside at the homes they're signed up to vote with. People who have registered to vote are still on the division's active list, but the division has not heard from in 2 years will have the cards sent to them.
What we hear back from usually is candidates and legislators, when they mail out things or when they go as they're campaigning, they'll go to somebody's house and ask for John Smith at 123 First Street and want to talk to him. And the person there will say, well, I don't know who that is. That person hasn't lived here for years. So it ends up being a costly problem for candidates for office because they're mailing out things to people who don't live here.
Those who receive the mailer are asked to fill it out and return it or return to sender if it isn't your name. She says if no response is heard after the second notice, your name may be moved to the inactive list. She says of the around 51,000 notices they sent out in 2024, about 29,000 were not returned.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.